Hello, my friends. I'm Gary from Golden Lotus Studio, and I'm here to tell you today why you should write a crappy song. Do you remember when you first fell in love with music? I mean, for me, when I was little, I was just 6 and I was acting out in school. Actually, my teacher said, this child needs an outlet. And so my parents took me to the music store and said I could pick out an instrument. So I picked out this organ to study. A cheesy bossa nova rhythm section under any song makes it better, doesn't it? So I started studying songs and pieces of music that I knew. The theme from Star Wars, some Captain and Tennille songs. I'm not proud of that. Muskrat Susie, Muskrat Sam. I still know the words. Was it Muskrat Sam? Was that really his name? Anyway, look, if you stop watching now because of Muskrat Love, I respect you for it. It's totally fine. And I had a really good organ teacher who let me write a song based on a Wolfman poem. And I fell in love with how powerful a song can be, what it can do in your life, how it can mean so much to you, how it can give you comfort, joy, excitement, connection, all the things. And I didn't do a whole lot of other writing or composing as I was growing up, but I did keep playing the instrument. And I certainly did keep listening to the radio and buying albums. Flash forward to high school, I ended up connecting with and doing music for the theater department. Went to college for music because I loved it so much and got so much from the connection I experienced with other people through the music I was making. I was composing at that time, and as a matter of fact, I became a jazz composition major and was writing for bands and for the concert stage and for theater. And I enjoyed the creative process of all that and went on to write for major stages across the country, get a lot of commercial work on cruise ships, all that good stuff, even large choir commissions. And while I loved composing, especially composing for commission, composing to tell a story as I was doing in theater and film, none of that commission work was truly why I got into music in the first place, why I was so passionate about it from when I was 6. The thing that I loved since I was a wee one was song. What song can do for you. But here I was writing a lot of instrumental music, setting choral texts, but not writing songs. So I sat down to try and write my own song, and I hated everything that came out of my pen. All my lyrics seemed cliche. All of the melodies were so banal. I was embarrassed at the stuff I was writing. I'd pick up the pen and I'd feel embarrassment, and it would stop me from moving forward. I became flooded with feelings of unworthiness and self-loathing. And so after just a few minutes, I would stop and I wouldn't return to it, because who wants to go back to feeling all that? And then I would hear a great song and I'd think, I want to try to do that. And so I'd go back, pick up the pen, start hating it, start feeling embarrassed. I would torture myself like that over and over again. And then during one of those sessions, or maybe between one, I can't remember exactly when the epiphany happened, but I had this thought, and it's simple. When you hear it, you're going to laugh. You're going to think this is a simple epiphany. But it meant a lot to me. I thought to myself, even my favorite artists, my favorite songwriters, like I grew up on Billy Joel. He wrote some songs I really loved in high school. Unbelievable. So this epiphany was, I bet Billy Joel's first song he ever wrote probably wasn't that great. Whoa, could that be true? Could it be that Paul McCartney's first song sucked? Joni Mitchell? Don't you say that about Joni. But it's possible, right? The first time anyone tries anything, we would assume that it's pretty bad, that it's amateurish, that it might even be banal. So then I posed this question to myself. I thought, would I rather have a song that's finished and crappy, or would I rather keep torturing myself with unfinished songs and unfulfillment? I'd rather at least finish one crappy song. That would at least be a worthy experiment. It's worthy of my time to try that and see what happens. So I committed myself then and there to finishing writing a song, even if it was the worst song that was ever written. My commitment was more to it being finished than to it being any good. And I succeeded in finishing it. I still didn't actually like it at all, but I did feel some sense of accomplishment at finishing the damn thing. And over the next few days and weeks, I'd pull the thing out and try and improve it, try and do some rewrites and make it better. But I kept being frustrated that none of them actually seemed to improve the song. The first version seemed to be just as good as any of the rewrites I was doing. But at least I had made a valiant attempt to make it better. And If that failed, so be it. It was a finished song. I played the song for my wife at the time, now my ex, and she smiled politely and commented a couple of constructive things that I could improve about the song. But her response was not enthusiastic, and through no fault of her own. I put the song away for a while. I didn't know how to take the notes, and I just put it away. Then for some reason, a little bit later on, I decided to play it for a trusted friend who's very positive. He kind of loves everything, and he was, of course, very complimentary. I can't tell you what joy that brought me. It was a kind of validation. He was able to say a few things that he liked about the song and what was working about it. I still had the sense that it wasn't a great song, but the main thing was there was validation, there was completion. I'd finished a song, I'd shared it with a couple of people, and some of the feedback was positive. So that was enough to encourage me to keep going and to keep writing songs. And so I did. I kept writing more and more songs. Now, I'm not going to lie, at the beginning, it was still harder to finish them. It took practice, it took experience, but I got there, and I got to the point where writing songs was quite fun and quite easy. And the funny thing about that song, that first song I wrote as an adult, is that years later when I was going through a divorce, I, of course, reached for songs, as I had so often in my life at painful moments. And the song that brought me the most comfort was that first song I'd written. It was about a breakup. It seemed to touch so much on the pain I was going through at that moment in my life. The song is called Elvis Has Left the Building, and it's on the first High Fiction record. You can find it streaming online. And so even though I can't necessarily tell if it's a good song or not, I know it brought me comfort during that time, and some other folks have responded positively to it. And there's no way I could have known when I started writing it and when I decided to finish it, what it would mean to me later or what it might mean to anybody else. And so even that first crappy song could be worthwhile. So I ask you, don't you owe it to yourself if you haven't written a song before or if you haven't finished a song before? I dare you, don't you owe it to yourself to find out if finishing a crappy song, even that might be worth it? To see what's in you waiting to emerge. This is what we do every day, every week over at goldenlotusstudio.com. I hope you'll make your song. And if you want community and support around it, come join us.